It's time for NEC Women's Basketball on the Run. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ralph Ventre. Glad to be back here in the NEC Front Row studio to talk women's hoops. First, a thank you to Craig D'Amico. He's done a marvelous job subbing in at different junctures this season. Thanks to Craig for hosting the show. But now I'm back. I'm ready to go. We have a lot to talk about in the world of NEC women's basketball. Let's take a look at where we stand. Robert Morris was the first NEC team to clinch a tournament berth. 3 more teams joined the Colonials this past Monday. Sacred Heart, St. Francis U, and St. Francis Brooklyn all secured spots in the 8-team postseason NEC tournament, the winner of which will receive an automatic bid to the Big Dance. 4 spots are filled, 4 vacancies remain. Everyone is still alive for postseason play. LIU Brooklyn only 1 game out. Fairleigh Dickinson and Central Connecticut tied for the 8th and final NEC tournament berth. We'll sort that out over the next 5 games. Robert Morris obviously did wonders for its postseason positioning with a big victory over St. Francis U on Monday night. That puts Robert Morris 3 games ahead of the 3-way tie in second place. Colonials obviously controlling their own destiny. 2 through 4, those are important spots as well. Of course, the top 4 teams host NEC quarterfinal games. So still plenty to sort out over the next 2.5 weeks of NEC women's hoops. She gets buckets. And by she, I'm talking about LIU Brooklyn freshman Brandy Thomas. She hails from the nationally renowned Christ the King High School program, and she's seamlessly adjusted into the college game. This past week, Thomas averaged a team-high 15 points per outing. She had 16 points and 13 boards in a victory over second-place Sacred Heart. She has scored no fewer than 13 points in any of her last 6 games. That includes a 36-point effort in a victory over Mount St. Mary's 2 weeks ago. Brandy Thomas for the season, 13.4 points per game. That's 9th overall amongst NEC leaders, 1st amongst NEC rookies. Brandy Thomas getting buckets, and she gets accolades as well. She is the NEC Rookie of the Week for the 5th time this season. Brandy Thomas fitting in nicely in Brooklyn. She gets buckets. Calling the Twitter timeout. This one from Hoptine, that's Hoptine. Christine Hopkins is a writer for SB Nation's Swish Appeal, and she focuses on the Northeast Conference from time to time. You can see she was hyped about the Keystone State clash that we featured on ESPN3 this past Monday. Of course, Robert Morris and SFU met in the championship game last year. They met for the first time since in our game of the week. The Colonials prevailed in a tight one, 66-60, but as Christine expected, it was an exciting affair in Loretto. Those 2 teams will meet again in the regular season finale. Between now and then, give Christine a follow on Twitter. That's Hoptine for your mid-major women's hoops coverage with a focus on the Northeast Conference. That's amazing. No, really. That's amazing. Not 1, but 2 triple-doubles from St. Francis Brooklyn senior point guard Amy O'Neal. Prior to this season, there had been only 10 triple-doubles in Northeast Conference history. That spans 4 decades, folks. 4 different decades. There had only been 10. This year, there have been 3, and Amy O'Neal is responsible for 2 of them. Her most recent performance, she did it against LIU Brooklyn in a big win on Saturday. She almost did it again in Monday's win over Central Connecticut, finishing with 8 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. She leads the Northeast Conference in assists. She's a high-efficiency player with a high field goal percentage. Amy O'Neal putting in the work this season and putting up numbers. That's amazing. And now for our game to watch. This one on Saturday, February 23rd. It tips off the slate at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It's number 1 versus number 1. That would be the NEC's top-ranked scoring defense against the NEC's top-ranked scoring offense. Robert Morris against St. Francis Brooklyn. First place in the standings against a team tied for second place. Just a quick nugget on each of these 2 teams. As for Robert Morris and its stifling defense, the Colonials have allowed over 60 points in only 1 conference game thus far this season. 1 out of 13 games has the opponent scored more than 60 points against Robert Morris, and that was in a 61-55 setback to Mount St. Mary's. As for SFBK, they've hit triple digits on 3 different occasions this year. They've scored at least 70 points in each of their last 4 NEC games. They are shooting the ball well from all areas of the floor, but they're going up against the suffocating defense of the Robert Morris Colonials. Something's got to give, and you can watch it unfold Saturday on Front Row. But before I let you go, as we near the end of our show, one more game to keep an eye on. Monday night, it's the final NEC game of the week. This one on ESPN+. It's Sacred Heart at Fairleigh Dickinson, and it's extremely important to both teams. Sacred Heart, of course, in that 3-way deadlock for second place. They want to be in the top 4 so they can host a quarterfinal game in the NEC tournament at the very least. On the other side, Fairleigh Dickinson fighting for its postseason life. The Knights are tied for the final playoff berth, so a win on Monday night could help propel them into the postseason. You won't want to miss that one. So I gave you one on Saturday, high-flying offense versus stingy defense. And then, of course, the game on Monday night with the big postseason implications. That'll do it for this week's edition of NEC Women's Basketball on the Run. I'm Ralph Ventre. We'll do it again next week. Until then, enjoy your NEC Women's Basketball.